guys, it's Lady Renasaru here, and welcome back to more Persona 4 Arena. So yeah, we are not quite done yet, but we are getting there. Right now, we are going to do Akihiko's story. So I just recently completed Aigis' story, and it was pretty awesome. We got to see where the Persona 3 characters have been. Mitsuru made the Men in Black organization. Aigis is still Aigis. And Akihiko has been fighting bears. So, yeah. I'm very excited to see where this is gonna go. South America.
I'm a long way from home.
Yeah, you're in South America. Ever since I left Japan, I've been constantly searching for places to test my strength. Before I knew it, I'd wound up on the ass end of the globe. As I walk down a dark alley, a dry wind blows. I can see people inside the buildings, but I don't sense any life here. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean that it's anything close to safe, though. Well, it just shows that not everywhere in the world is affluent. Sense a hostile presence from somewhere. I glance around and see two thugs smirking at me with narrowed eyes. Our gazes meet, and those thugs, a exceedingly looking large man and a thin man, stand before me.
Yo, bro, haven't seen your mug around here. Lucky thing we noticed you. Come on, man, spare us some change. We just need a little, man. We'll double it in no time in that gambling den over there.
You're in my way. Move it.
Badass as always. Okay, the thugs are momentarily stunned by my answer, but their shock quickly dissolved into anger.
And we were being friendly. I should have pulled this on you at the start.
The large man's words produce a... What? Fusillade... whatever. As he simultaneously whips out what he believes to be his trump card. It's a gun. No worries, it's just a gun. He waves the muzzle in front of my face in a threatening manner.
A body like that, and you gotta resort to a gun? Pathetic.
Huh?
To begin with, do I really look like I carry that much money on me?
Ain't you Japanese? Most Asians stupid enough to come waltzing around here are loaded. Come on, give me everything you got, or it's gonna be your brains on the floor.
The large man is quite short-tempered. I wonder if his mood swings are due to his lack of calcium in his diet. I guess you really don't get to choose what you eat when you live in a place like this. The large man apparently realizes that he can simply take my cash when I'm dead, and his fat finger squeezes the trigger before I can reply. A gunshot rings out and sends a shockwave through the alley's dry air.
Son of a bitch!
The large man stands stupefied. He recollects himself and throws a few more rounds my way.
What kind of hit him?
It's because I'm dodging his shots. Not the bullets. They obviously move faster than the human body. When a slow man uses a gun, the problem is that he has to point the gun where he wants to send the bullets. And I can see him doing that. I'm just reading his gun's movement and getting out of his line of fire before he shoots. It's that simple. I bet he thinks there's something wrong with the gun, or that he's not aiming well. Some people. I think he's the embodiment of the phrase, a big head and a little wit. He never realizes what's happening. I dodge his hail of bullets and quickly close the distance to my attempted murderer. Get a good look of his face contorting in fear and confusion.
Checkmate.
How badass is that? Just go up to him. Checkmate. I strike once, burying my fist into his porcine gut. His body lifts off the ground for a brief moment before it collapses to the ground backwards. The massive impact lifts a huge cloud of dust, and the man doesn't stir from his place on the ground.
You should be more careful who you pick your fights with.
You bastard!
The thin man pulls something from his pocket. I hear the loud click of a switchblade being unfolded. He drops into a crouch, coiled and ready to strike.
At least you know the basics.
Oh my god, what is with these words? Extends his arm and thrusts the dully shining knife towards me in a telegraphic attack. I get inside his arm and swipe the attack angle of the blade out of the way with my right hand and connect with my left hand underneath his jaw. Since he attacks in the most obvious fashion, I repel the attack with the most obvious counter. The uppercut lands flush, and the man is cast into the air as he utters an undignified scream.
I gotta hand it to you for not abandoning your pal.
Sheesh. I didn't come on a journey to waste my time getting into scraps that don't even rate as a good warm-up. Although, honestly, pretty much all that I had encountered so far in my training was a continuous morass of tedious quarrels. Now up ahead, huh? I noticed that the dust from the fat man's landing has gone on my cape, and I brush it off. This is the only mark that I took from the encounter. Bodily injuries will heal over time, even when they're left alone, but the same can't be said about one's clothing.
Damn, that was impressive stuff.
Someone speaks to me out of the blue. I glance over and see a man who looks like a bartender hesitantly emerge from a nearby bar. It seems he was watching the whole thing unfold.
What a fight! And against a man with a gun? Are you a ninja or something?
Close.
That's not important. Where are the police? I'd have thought all the gunfire would catch their attention.
The bartender responds to my bewilderment by laughing in an even more dumbfounded manner and shrugs.
Things like that happen all the time. The only authority here is the cartel. Everyone who's not connected dies in poverty. That's been how it works for over 50 years.
I see.
Those who are not connected. Upon hearing that, a bitter feeling wells up inside me. Everything in this world relies on connections, and connections are just another form of power. People say that what's most important can't be obtained by power, but I figured that means that 99.9% of everything is simply a matter of power. That includes one's lifespan. And at times, the lifespan of those close to you as well.
Hey, why not stop in for a drink? It's on the house. Seeing what you did made my day.
The bartender's cheerful voice snaps me out of my ruminations.
Are you sure? The cartel you mentioned might not like that.
Hey, I'll get off easy compared to you. All I did was offer you a drink, not beat the hell out of their goons.
A drink, huh?
Do you have the good stuff in stock?
Huh?
It's hard to obtain that certain something around here. I haven't had any for a couple days now. Actually, I'm starting to go into withdrawal.
What is it you're talking about, mister? Listen, I run a clean bar.
Protein. I need a double shot of protein.
Huh? Pro.
Make it quick. It's only half as effective 30 minutes after I've burned some calories.
Sorry, I don't know that brand. Is that some kind of sake?
Only Akihiko would be like, protein! I need protein!
No. It's alright if you don't have any.
Sheesh, what am I thinking? You never know unless you try, but it was pretty stupid of me to expect that a bartender in a dive bar like this would have protein drinks. I shake my head and collect myself. When I finally return to Japan, I'll have all the protein I'll have all the protein my muscle fibers are crying out for. Sounds great just thinking about it. Mountains of protein. Protein as far as the eye can see. But my daydreams of what a world of infinite protein would be like are interrupted. Sorry, Akihiko, we are having a midlife crisis. I take out my cell phone and see that I've received an email. There are 3 important things on the sub-display. The first thing is the icon that tells me that international roaming service is in effect. Second is the name Kirijo. And the last thing is the word urgent.
Looks like opportunity's knocking sooner than I expected.
I can't hide my smirk. The fact that the message is urgent means that I'm being summoned for a mission! Yeah!
Fine with me. I haven't found any opponents worth my time here anyway.
Plus, the training journey I'm on was preparation for these missions. It was my way of showing that I would be suited for taking on these special missions professionally. It seems that either my plan is working or that this is fate telling me that the time to display my results has come.
I can't wait to see what kind of challenge there is in store for me now.
I imagine what this unknown enemy could be and thrust my left fist proudly towards the foreign winds. I can't keep my body from trembling with excitement, and I plant my fist right into my right palm. Hells yeah. Early morning, May 3rd, Japan. May 3rd. After a flight that took over half a day, I arrive in Japan. Every time I fly, it always strikes me how cramped the seats are and how boring long flights are. Considering that we're being placed in a hypoxic environment, it's a waste not to equip the seats with pec decks or give us access to some cardio equipment. As I head towards the arrival lobby, while taking phone, okay. Haven't heard in a while. A newscaster reporting in my mother tongue. Okay, Akihiko, you are the. Oh my God, you speak so fancy.
Good morning. It's May 3rd, Constitution Memorial Day. Our top story today is an update on the hijacking 2 days ago. 5 men attempted a daring hijacking of a domestic airline, the first such incident in Japan in the 21st century. Police began their official interrogation of the arrested suspects this morning. But all depositions have been vague so far, with suspects complaining of muddled memories. Psychiatric exams are being considered.
That must be the incident she mentioned in her email.
2 days ago in Japan, a jumbo jet bound for Kagoshima was hijacked by a group of 5 men. The hijacking attempt was quickly dealt with because of the hijackers' half-hearted plan, but there was the bigger issue. Unbeknownst to the public, the passenger flight that was hijacked was going to have a very important piece of cargo loaded onto it. During the confusion surrounding the hijacking investigation, the cargo seems to have been stolen before it was loaded onto the plane. The hijacking was just a smokescreen for the real crime. Using a hijacking was a distraction for a simple cargo theft. It's pretty daring, but it's also desperate and risky. My mission is to retrieve that cargo from whomever wanted it so badly. This isn't a situation that can just be left to ordinary policemen. This cargo is extremely dangerous, and the retrieval has to be done discreetly due to its sensitive nature. I look away from the monitor and begin walking again. My cell phone immediately begins ringing, as if the caller was watching me the entire time. The name Mitsuru Kirijo appears on the sub-display. Mitsuru Kirijo. She's the one who summoned me here for this mission. I didn't tell her any details about my return flight, but she must have found the information on her own and called after learning of my flight's arrival. She's still as prepared as ever.
It's me.
It's been a long time, Akihiko. I'm sorry to call you back on such short notice.
Don't worry about it. How was it a good stopping point?
Mitsuru has much greater standing in the group than I, but we've been classmates since middle school, and she fought alongside me in my biggest battle. I have a feeling that the only reason we were able to pull through such an ordeal was that we helped each other back then.
So, who's our next enemy?
Don't be so impatient. You received the brief I sent you, right? What I didn't say directly in it is that the stolen cargo was from Ergo Research.
I figured it would be Kirijo group related, with you having to call me back.
Most ordinary people in Japan would have at least heard of the name Kirijo. The Kirijo Group. A large conglomerate, one of the few within Japan that can boost a large market share overseas. Their influence is so ever-present that they touch many aspects of a typical citizen's daily life. Mitsuru is part of that organization. In fact, she is the only daughter of its founding family. She grew up with untold responsibilities and expectation and has been forced to navigate social situations ever since she was young. That is why she has a refined personality, maturity beyond her years, and strong leadership skills. Although the same circumstances also expose her to the occasional surprising lapse in...
What was inside this cargo?
The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris.
An anti-shadow weapon? Does that mean...
Yes, she's one of Aigis' sister units. She was sealed at the time of the robbery, but we think it's very likely that she's been activated by now.
Which means there's a good chance there'll be a fight. Alright. Yeah, this would be too much for the normal authorities. Sounds like it'll be right up my alley.
Oh boy, we're so excited. Okay, the man who Okay, words. Form. Okay, the man who ran the group 2 generations ago, Koitsu Kirijo. He was the founder of the group and also Mitsuru's grandfather. Around 10 years ago, this certain research that man was performing brought about a huge distortion in this world. The forces that created the distortion were known as shadows. I guess the best way I could describe them would be to say that they are monsters incarnate of the darkness in people's hearts. In any case, there's something completely absurd like that. Koitsu Kirijo doing ergo research in what would later be known as the infamous Kirijo Ergonomics Lab to repeatedly perform inhumane experiments. He was artificially drawing out shadows in an attempt to gain powers beyond what mortal man should have. But the experiment failed during the final stages. What remained after a big explosion were over 50 casualties and a distortion in the world that can never be repaired. Normal people are completely unable to sense this distortion at all, and yet this same distortion could cause the entire world to collapse. 3 years ago, Mitsuru and I, along with our friends, devoted ourselves to a fight in order to end the threat of that collapse. The bonds and precious memories I gained from them are engraved upon my heart and haven't faded to this day.
Fighting is not our first option, but I'd be more reassured with you there. We have a general idea of where it was taken, the Inaba area, where there were reports of suspected shadow activity last year.
Okay, I'll meet up with you at the actual location.
Are you heading directly there? You never change. Let me know if you need anything and I'll make the arrangements.
protein. That's all.
Protein!
What? No, it's better I don't ask. I'll send you the precise location later. Sorry to call when you've just returned from a trip, but I'm relying on your assistance.
You went to a lot of trouble to create the Shadow Operatives. I won't do anything to tarnish the name. I'll see you there.
So awesome, man. This is so cool. I'm gonna take a second to talk about this. This is really, really cool. It's like, now that I'm playing, now that I'm like out of Persona 4 realm and going back to Persona 3 realm, it's like, it's so nice to actually see like the stories kind of combined together so far cohesively. I love that. I really, really like that. So this is really picking up the story for me so far. So, alrighty. The Shadow Operatives. That's the organization I'm a part of. We're a joint task force comprised of the Kirijo group and the police. Officially, we do not exist. Our main mission is to deal with shadow-related cases that the police are incapable of handling, and our objective is to prevent or minimize the collateral damage caused by shadows. Basically, a giant seize movement. Shadows can only be defeated by Persona users. Mitsuru, myself, and many of the members belonging to the Shadow Operatives have personas and knowledge about them. Ooh! Do I sense possible setup for Persona 5? Story setup? Or maybe Persona 4 Arena 2. Maybe. Anyways, Mitsuru fully dedicated herself to prevent Kirijo's tainted legacy from falling into the wrong hands. That is her. No. That is her. No. It is the shared duty of all of us in the group. I noticed that I've unconsciously formed my hand into a fist. I have an email from Mitsuru giving me the details on the meeting location. As usual, she thoroughly planned this out.
Inaba, huh?
A smile appears on my face. An opportunity to use all the skills and strength I've been honing? I will commit every fiber of my being to fulfill the duty I've been given. I couldn't ask for more. I feel like Akihiko's gonna be like a tank. He's gonna be like a full... I'm gonna save here. He's gonna be like a complete tank in this game. So it's like the fights are gonna be like, done. I am assuming. The same day, afternoon. I arrive in Inaba earlier than I planned. There's a lot of time to kill before I need to be at the meeting. In order to get a feel for the town and what's going on, I decide to walk around a bit. From the looks of it, it's an ordinary countryside town. I can't believe that people think a level 4 shadow-related case occurred here last year. As far as I can tell, there doesn't seem to be any disturbances going on right now. It looks like the unit named Labris isn't running amok here either. As soon as I stray from the main street a bit, it's mountains and fields as far as the eye can see. The air is clean and traffic is pretty light, so the town has that going for it. This would be a great place to go running early in the morning. I wait for evening to come while exploring as much of the town as I can. You know what would be really cool? If, like, Akihiko and, Chie, like, trained together. Like, it's like, since she's into Kung Fu and into training a lot, it's like, they would work. They would work as, like, training buddies.
It's almost time.
Midnight. My cape flutters in the wind as I shadow box and jog to the meeting area, an intersection on the outskirts of what this town would call its shopping district. Meeting up in a rural area like this is a bit of a tricky situation. Since the Shadow Operatives do not officially exist, we need to draw as little attention to our mission as possible. That didn't work. Hopefully we can quickly join up and be on our way so that the residents don't take notice of a bunch of outsiders assembling in their sleepy town. Unfortunately, when I arrive at the meeting point, Mitsuru and the others are nowhere to be seen.
Did something happen? I doubt she'd run into any trouble she couldn't handle, though.
Could it be that I'm at the wrong place? There aren't any tall buildings to block my views, so I look in every direction. The only thing outside the shopping district obstructing my view is mound of garbage that looks like it might be a scrap heap or a junkyard. I may as well be diligent and head over there just to make sure.